This right here is approximately 300 grams of molten HDPE, also known as milk bottles. Approximately. Well, that's not going anywhere. The next few steps should be pretty straightforward. Zero the machine, cut the roughing program with a big bit, cut 2 detail passes with smaller bits, and then wrap up by cutting off all the excess material on the table saw. I restarted this first program a couple of times because I kept hearing what sounded like skipped steps or some other unknown mechanical problems. When the issue didn't go away on its own, first thing I checked was the belt tension. Everything seemed fine, but I adjusted them anyway. For the first detail program, I use a 1/8 inch round Dremel bit. And almost at once it started skipping steps, and for some reason it seemed to be cutting even deeper. So I tried restarting the program and trying again. Okay, try it again, but this time further away from the material. Okay, so off camera I figured it out. Turns out this connector, which drives the first X-axis motor, is not rated for continuous flex, and therefore it was arcing a little bit, blue sparks and everything. So the next thing I'm going to have to do to get this machine up and running is probably replace this connector, if not all the cables for the motors, just to be sure. This is 18 gauge single core silicone coated wire. I cut all the cable assemblies to the same length so I wouldn't confuse them during installation. The extra length is in case I decide to resize the table in the future. I twisted the cables before putting them into the cable chain for cleaner bends and to make it easier to track which bundle each motor was connected to. The motherboard uses a 2.5mm pitch JST connector for each stepper. I am sure it says somewhere on the box, but 18 gauge wire is just far too big to use in these small connectors. So, new idea. I reused the original connectors and just attached them with wire nuts. This should be fine since this end of the cables are zip tied down and covered by a shroud. Even with all the effort to make the cables the same, a couple motors were reversed. This was easy to remedy, however, since I used these terminal blocks. Okay, it works again. For maximum backpackability, I used a Steam Deck running BlenderCam to generate all of the G-code I ran while working on this project. Since everything else was working so well, I decided to try out a new cut path algorithm. This was fine, except I did not realize that changing this setting cleared some of the limits and safe zones I had previously set. I set the final finishing pass at a 90-degree angle from the last to reduce tool marks, and kind of crashed it into the margin left on the edge, but managed to stop it and manually mill some clearance back in. And there it is, one map of Idaho made from 100% recycled milk jugs. So if you made it this far in the video, you must have thought something was interesting. So leave a like and hit that subscribe button, because I may have more projects like this in the near future.